UFC 286 London is less than a week away, and it should be an absolute cracker. The order of the main card is a little bit strange to me, but never mind. In the last video for the prelims, I managed 10 fights in under 10 minutes, and I loved the pacing on that one. So let's get our thumbs out of our buttholes and get to work on this one. Oh man, I love Marvin Vettori, and I'm picking him here. His gas tank is incredible, and this man comes to bring the fight. He's not the most technical fighter in the world, but his takedown defense is excellent, and he will put on a pace that is difficult to match. Roman's fairly decent in all areas, and is coming off a good win against Jack Hermansson, who was actually piecing him up pretty easily on the feet, then made the weird decision to shoot while the match was in hand, and basically hand Dolidze the win. Keep this man away from your wives, I feel this needs to be mentioned. Vettori won't go to the ground, and I can't see Roman having much success if it stays standing. I expect this to go to a UD win, with Vettori dominating the fight with volume, peppering punches, and brutal body kicks, and keeping the fight essentially where he wants it. He goes for volume over power, and Dolidze does have a decent chin, so I expect him to survive. I do expect the Italian Dream to emerge with a win here, and I think he's a reasonably safe pick in MMA, as safe as you can get anyway. Alright, another little trap for me to blindly walk into here. I'm taking Maia. O'Neal is undefeated, but I haven't really seen anything off her to suggest that she's all that good. She did come off a split decision win in her last fight against the GOAT Roxanne Modafferi, but don't let that sway you. Maia is a massive step up here, and I'm honestly shocked that she's coming in as the underdog. Women's MMA has proved my undoing countless times, over and over again, probably because of how much I disrespect it since I started this channel, and I seem to be allergic to correct picks with them. But I like Maia's stand-up. She's pretty scary on the ground, and the level of competition she has faced compared to O'Neal is simply incomparable. I think Maia will show her there are levels here and see out a convincing win, probably taking the last two and maybe even pulling off a Hail Mary finish. O'Neal's always going here. She's fine. Alright, there's rumours circulating at the moment that the fight between Gunnar Nelson and Bryan Barberena is about to be cancelled, and that Gunnar Nelson is instead going to be paired with Daniel Rodriguez. But until that's confirmed, I'm just going to call this fight for what it is. I honestly think grappling and jiu-jitsu will be what wins this one here, assuming it takes place. And I'm taking Gunnar Nelson, despite the ridiculous 80s porn star mustache. Barberena is scrappy and tough, and he will make this a difficult fight. But I don't love that he's taking this on relatively short notice. He isn't the most athletic guy to come in here without a full camp, especially into enemy territory. He's been far more active than Gunnar though over the last few years, which may work in his favor. But I just think that Barberena has struggled in the past with guys that have accomplished ground games, and Gunnar is one of the better men in the division, I think, in this area. This will be a tricky fight for both men. I think they'll both have their moments where the tide seems to be turning, but I'll trust in Gunnar to stick to a game plan and find a submission at the later stages of the fight. I prefer this as a main card opener rather than a feature fight, but it is a decent matchup. Gunnar to take this, I feel. Okay, I called this fight in my prediction of lightweight, and I see no reason to deviate from my pick here. Gaethje is an extremely entertaining watch. I just think he's older and he's been in far too many wars. Fiziev is explosive, dangerous, and hungry. I think this is going to be a hell of a war while it lasts, but I think Fiziev is going to find the chin and put him away. A lot has been said about Gaethje's ability to wrestle, but I haven't seen it, and even if he does decide to change it up and go against everything we know about him, I don't see this playing out well for him either. Fiziev for me is a future title contender at this weight class, and I think he makes a statement here. I think Gaethje loses this in brutal fashion and then moves up to welterweight. If he can somehow snatch a win, he might find himself in the McGregor sweepstakes once his business with Chandler is concluded. I'm very high on Fiziev, and I think he gets the finish here. This has Fight of the Night written all over it though, and whoever you pick, it should be a great fight. Alright, so this is the rematch for the welterweight championship that we all knew we were getting after the first fight, and I'll be a little bit more measured in this one. Usman lost the belt to the man he sees opposite him in the viral KO of 2022, but was inarguably on his way to winning a competitive fight last time out. I had him 3-1 up before he got brutally finished. Now, despite what I just said, I think the fight was a lot closer than people remember, with Leon winning the first clearly and keeping it competitive throughout the bout. He was also really unlucky in getting his toe caught in the cage in the second round while he was controlling things, and I'd be remiss not to mention the amount of times Usman got away with grabbing the gloves and cage at certain key moments to regain an advantage, clear cheating that got overlooked. I think the biggest factor in this one was that the fight took place in altitude last time out in Utah, handing Kamaru a significant advantage as he trains at team elevation. Almost everyone is picking Kamaru to bounce back and get a UD win here, which is the sensible shout given how the fight went last time. I'm going to go with the minority here and pick my man Rocky Edwards. His takedown defense is so underrated, and he can match Usman for cardio. He has an iron chin, and I believe he actually has the advantage in the stand-up. He's a very good MMA boxer, and I think his IQ is something that isn't being talked about enough. The finish he got was unreal, but the way that Leon set up that head kick was what really illustrated his intelligence in there. While I think a repeat KO is unlikely, I do think Edwards will cause a surprise by winning a decision this time, and I think a unanimous decision. One thing that most analysts aren't mentioning is that Kamaru is also coming back from hand surgery and was supposed to be off a lot longer. I feel he's kind of rushing back to ensure he doesn't get passed over in the same way that Izzy is doing that for the Pereira fight. I have maximum respect for Kamaru, who I still believe is dangerous and the favorite for a reason, but I think Leon is as good and has advantages where it counts here. I'm going to call a UD win for Leon here in a very technical battle where both men have their moments. This will come down to which man makes mistakes at certain moments, and I don't think Leon will be as unlucky at certain moments as he was in the first fight. I also think that if Kamaru attempts to gain advantages through basically cheating as he did in the first fight, this isn't going to be overlooked as the fight's taking place in London, and this time Leon is the champion. I'm taking Rocky for the win, and I really hope he gets it done. Okay, so as I mentioned, I am coming in with an overall record this year of 65-27, and if you think of the amount of underdogs I've picked this year, I do have to tip my own hat and say that that is an insane record. My winning percentage is sitting currently at about 70.5, which if you round it up, should be 71%, but I'm gonna give myself 70. I will be back on a very early Sunday morning, probably at 2 a.m. UK time. But yeah, really looking forward to this one. Really hope Rocky gets it done. Again, I want to thank all the new subscribers that have stopped by. Really appreciate it. I'm trying to make a concerted push to get to 100 as soon as I can. Thanks to everyone, and I'll see all of you on Sunday morning. Have a great rest of the week, and thanks for popping by.